Dearly Delulu, we are gathered here today to celebrate day 18 of Tour de Fleece 2025. Welcome to the third installment, technically fourth installment of my Tour de Fleece series. I've been kind of semi-vlogging my progress through each day that I've spun during Tour de Fleece. And during the last installment, I left off, let's see, if today's day 18, yesterday's day 17, Sunday's day 16, Saturday's day 15, Friday's day 14, I left off on day 14. And I haven't spun or touched any fiber productively since Friday, day 14, and now today's day 18, Tuesday, July 22nd, and I'm ready to get back in the saddle. So today we're going to spin, as promised, my Tour de Fleece braid from Camry of Golden Hour Knitwear. This is a Peruvian wool top braid, and I've mentioned this before, I've never spun Peruvian wool top before, so I'm excited to give this a go. Not much else to say other than let's get going. Okay, so I have split the braid up. Basically, I didn't want to stress too much about how I was prepping the fiber, so I just split it hot dog ways 8 times or 4 times. I split it in half, and then I split each of those halves in half, and then half again. So I have 8 equal long strips, and I'm just going to go through each one by one. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the Tour de Fleece series. I don't think I have in Tour de Fleece. But I have my spinning wheel on a little welcome mat, and I keep it on that because sometimes after a long spin session, there's like oil transfer from parts of the spinning wheel mechanism. So I just got a little doormat for it to keep my carpet safe and clean. I know there's a way to troubleshoot this, but I don't feel like expending the energy to figure it out. So this is my solution for now. Okay, let's talk first impressions on this Peruvian wool top. I am liking how this is spinning. I'm liking how it's drafting. It reminds me a lot of the Shetland wool that I recently spun into that little 5 mini skein fade set. But it's a little bit more stiff or like grippy, not as smooth drafting as the Shetland wool was, but I'm liking it so far. I'm not through the first strip yet, so I still have a lot to experience with this braid, but I'm noticing some hand discomfort, so I'm going to pamper myself a little bit with my hand massager, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, the cycle has completed, and now I'm going to get back to spinning. I'm also going to listen to my audiobook. I have started Throne of Glass. My sister Anna and I are reading it together. I'm listening to the audiobook, and she's reading it, I think on her Kindle, maybe in print, I'm not sure. Oh, by the way, this is what my hand looks like after my compression massage. It feels so good after I use that thing. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go back to spinning, and I'm going to listen to my book. If you've read Throne of Glass, we can chat about it soon because I'm reading it now. But don't spoil it for me in the meantime. Anyway, goodbye. Time to spin. Okay, hello from 9:51 p.m. on today, day 18 of Tour de Fleece. I feel like it's still day 18, July 22nd. Apologies if I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure today is day 18. I finished my spin and my plying for my Tour de Fleece braid from Camry of Golden Hour Knitwear. It reminds me of the Grand Canyon, or like layers of desert rock. So I'm going to skein this up and we'll see what it looks like in hank form. Here it is, the finished skein. I mean, technically not really finished, because I still need to wash and thwack it, and that will plump it up and kind of even out spaces like this that just kind of feel just a little, I don't know, their heart isn't in being part of the skein. So washing will help that. It will plump it up. It will, I don't know, give it some va-va-voom. But I will be honest with you, this is not in my go-to color palette. I don't know if I will keep this skein or gift this skein, but as I'm thinking about the other yarn that I've spun, I'm wondering, it actually might look really nice with this skein from Brandy of Long Dog Yarn, which I spun during the first week of Tour de Fleece. That's some food for thought. But I'm glad to have this braid spun. I'm glad that it's no longer in my collection of fiber, because it was stressing me out to have this sitting in my collection for so long without being spun up, since it was sent to me for last year's Tour de Fleece. So I'm very, very, very happy that this is now a complete, or again, nearly complete skein once it is washed and thwacked. But that's it for today. Again, I'm pretty sure it's day 18. I am going to spin this braid next. Hopefully I will get to it tomorrow, but this is another gifted braid. I was going to say skein. Eventually it will be a skein. But I guess I'm just going to move through, at least for now, the braids that I've been gifted. I think this is the last, or no. I've been gifted other things like bats and things, but I don't know if I'm brave enough to go into bats yet. But I will be spinning this next, and the reason this hasn't been spun yet is because it's merino, and I don't super love spinning merino, but I'm willing to think that perhaps it's not an issue with the fiber. It was my attitude when I was spinning merino previously, so I'm gonna give it another go. This is the colorway Pegasus from Townhouse Yarns, and the lovely ladies of, of Townhouse Yarns, lovely ladies of This Is Knit. Townhouse Yarn is the in-house yarn brand for This Is Knit, which is a local yarn store in Dublin. When I visited last October in 2024, they gifted me this braid of Pegasus fiber, as well as a fingering weight skein and a lace weight, I think it's mohair, skein of Pegasus. I just love this color. And they knew I loved it because I mentioned it in 2023. And then in 2024, they had a little gift set for me. So I think this will be a beautiful, beautiful skein when it is spun up. And it's high time that happens. So this will be my next braid, and I'm assuming it will happen tomorrow, but anything could happen to disrupt those plans. But for now, those are the plans. So I'll see you back here for day 19. Hey everybody, welcome to day 19 of Tour de Fleece. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, and I'm in my spin shorts because it is Tour de Fleece. Let's not forget that. And today I'm going to start spinning my braid of merino, just like I told you. I haven't changed my mind in the 12 hours that have passed. It's been more than 12 hours. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. And I told you last night at like 11 p.m. So anyway, this isn't a math class. I'm not interested in that. All this to say, I am still of the same mind that I was last night. I'm going to spin up this braid, this beautiful braid of Pegasus merino fiber from Townhouse Yarns, which is, again, the in-store brand of This Is Knit. By the way, let me just tell you, because some of you are watching this that don't watch my other videos, so I'm just compelled to say, in 2026, in October, I'm going to This Is Knit for a private shopping experience on my 4th annual Irish knitting tour. So if you want to come with me on a knitting tour, you can check it out by going to this QR code or heading to rachelisknitting.com/tours to read all about it. Okay, let's prep this fiber. So Okay, I didn't do the best job of keeping track of splitting up this fiber. I just split it all up, so I'm going to use my kitchen scale that I use exclusively in the craft room. So it's my craft room scale, and I'll use that to weigh the fiber so I can split it in half. Okay? Okay, I've got my scale on this little table. So we'll just make some nests and get it as even as possible. You know what would be so smart? If I had a box or a bowl, but I don't, so I'm just gonna pretend like it's not necessary, right? That's fine, right? That's fine. Okay, we're at 40 grams. So let's just put this aside, and now we'll weigh the rest and just see where we're at. I think it'll be more than 40 grams because this braid should be around 100 grams in total. I mean, you'd think that's the standard, right? 20 grams, 27, 35. Now we're at 39, so we'll say that is an even split. And then we'll do, that's 7 grams, so 1 for each pile. That's 5 grams. That's 6 grams, so we'll do 1 for each pile. This is 11 grams, and this is 12 grams, so we'll do 1 for each pile. That was the most chaotic yarn splitting I've ever done, certainly that I've done for Tour de Fleece. Anyway, let's get spinning. All right, it is like what, 9:30 at night, and I have finished the first bobbin. I wasn't spinning that whole time from 4 until 9. Really, probably this took maybe an hour and a half from beginning to end, like in just the time that I was spinning. I spun this pretty thick, like this is a relatively thick single, and I still have the second half of the braid to spin. Normally the bobbins aren't this full when I've just done half a braid, so this does lead me to believe that yet again I have not done a good job of splitting the uh, two halves of the braid evenly. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. I can do a few different things to make sure that I use all of the singles, even if they're uneven. So just for those of you, because you told me last week that you liked my explanation, so I'm going to explain this a little bit for those of you who maybe aren't spinners. So let me grab another bobbin so I can give you a visual. Okay, so here's my first bobbin, right? This is half of the braid spun up into a single, meaning it is just a single ply. It's just half of the braid spun up. Now, I will take a fresh bobbin and I will spin up the second half of the braid. And then once I have both halves on bobbins, I will ply them together. So I will take this single strand, if I can find where it begins. I'll take this single strand, it will come off the bobbin, and then I will take the strand of the second half on this bobbin and I will twist them together using my wheel to make a 2-ply yarn. Now, if the two halves are not split evenly, they're not true halves, they're just one amount and another amount split from the same braid, it may end up so there's still a single left on one bobbin, whereas the other bobbin, I've spun all the single off of that bobbin and it's taken up into the 2-ply yarn. So when that happens, you can do a ply bracelet. It's called an Andean ply bracelet. I think that's how you say it. So if that does indeed happen, I will show you how I do that, but I'm not going to spin more tonight. I mean, I always say that, and then sometimes I end up spinning more as the night goes on, but I don't have plans to spin more tonight because my wrist is kind of bothering me. So I'm going to use my Bob and Brad hand massager, and then I'm going to either edit some videos or knit or just like do something that is different than the motion of holding onto my fiber as it's taken up onto the wheel. So I'll end it here for today, day 19, and I'll see you back for day 20. Hello, welcome to day 21 of Tour de Fleece. Yesterday, I almost finished plying my braid of Pegasus, but I stopped myself because I wanted to show you what I said I would show you if it happened. So let me grab the bobbins to show you. So on my wheel, I have my, I have my almost finished ply. This is a 2-ply yarn on the bobbin. But here's a visual of the 2 bobbins where the singles came from. So when I spun the fiber into a single, I had the braid sort of split in half, if you remember from earlier in the video. Well, this bobbin, the only thing left on the bobbin is what's called a leader, and it's basically just yarn looped around the bobbin, and it functions as the way you get the fiber onto the bobbin. It's how you start your spin. So there's no Pegasus single left on this, it's just my leader. This bobbin though, there's a good amount of the Pegasus single left. It's not like a ton, but obviously they are different. This one has none, this one still has some. So there are a few options of what I could do to maximize the yardage I get from my single. I could make a separate little mini skein with this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a ply bracelet, and then I'm going to tie it onto the yarn I have on my bobbin, and then I'm just going to finish spinning it. So it will still be a 2-ply yarn, but like if I were to work this up at a certain point, I would probably cut it where I tie it on so there's not a knot in my work. But anyway, just so it's all part of the same cohesive unit, I'm going to make a ply bracelet and then start plying it onto the bobbin. So in order to do this, let me put the bobbin down so I can show you with my hand. Okay, so to make a ply bracelet, I'm going to put the yarn between my middle finger and my index finger. So there. The end that is not connected to anything is draping on the front of my hand, on the palm of my hand, and the end that is connected to the bobbin is on the back of my hand. I'm then going to bring the end connected to the bobbin from the back of my hand to the palm of my hand. So from the back side, it looks like I have a ring around my middle finger. On the front, I can see both ends of the single dangling. Then I'm going to go around the back of my hand. Let's see, around the back of my hand. Okay, so it's going this way, and then up over my thumb on the front. And I'm going to go around my middle finger like that, and then back down the thumb, back around the back of the hand, and then around the middle finger the other way. So I'm going, I don't know, crisscrossing around my middle finger as I make this ply bracelet. So every pass is resting a different way on my hand. Let me see if I can film this from a better angle, and I'll go slowly so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going around the back, around the middle finger, and then back around the back and around the middle finger. Now, as you can see, my middle finger is starting to get a little red, so I try to do this quickly just because I don't want to extend the time that I'm cutting off circulation. And I've done ply bracelets before with quite a bit of yarn, and I just don't do that anymore because I don't think it's safe. So as you can see, I don't think this is the best way to do it, so maybe don't do it exactly how I'm doing it, but as I do more, my middle finger naturally goes lower and lower based on the tension of my ply bracelet. But I'm almost done with this single, wrapping it around. Once you get in the groove of it, you can do it pretty quickly. Okay, here's my finished ply bracelet. I'm not making a gesture, okay? It's just how the ply brace, I don't even know what gesture this would be, but I'm not making one. It's just how the ply bracelet is making my hands work. So now, once you've got your ply bracelet done, you, I slide my thumb out and I pull the loops off of my middle finger. Normally, I wouldn't pull it all the way off my hand, but then you slide it down on your wrist, hence the name bracelet, and you find the two ends of your single. Here we go. And then you attach this to your bobbin and you start plying. So let's go do that. Ta-da! So happy with this bobbin. Let's get this in skein form. Here it is. This is the mountaintop. This is so pretty, so beautiful. So this is superwash merino, and I think that this would be a great option to use in a Harlow flip. I've been talking about this hat. I've been wanting to use my hand spun to make this hat, and I think that this would provide a good contrast if I used like one of my purples from my collection of hand spun. But let me quickly show you all that I've spun this week, and then I'll probably end the Tour de Fleece video here for week 3. So here's what I have to show. First, I finished my mini skein set of my Shetland sampler that I got in July of 2024. I loved spinning this Shetland wool. Was this week? I think I finished it this week. Maybe this was last week and I'm misremembering, but either way, I have a mini skein of my Shetland wool. And then I spun my Peruvian wool top from Camry of Golden Hour Knitwear. It's this beautiful, like, deserty colorway, lots of oranges and like kind of a mauvey pink. I think that this would be a really beautiful contrast with my green Polworth that I spun in week 1 in the past of Tour de Fleece. And then lastly, my braid of Pegasus. This is really plump and really, really like squishy, and I haven't even washed it or thwacked it yet, so I'm very impressed by that. But here is the lineup of week 3. Dun, 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 dun. Again, I think I'm remembering correctly that the Shetland is week 3. But I don't know. Is it? And also, did I finish my fractal spin? I feel like I did, but maybe I didn't show you in finished form because I hadn't washed the fractal spin yet. Let me show you anyway. Here you go. Here it is. So I've got these, I've got my Shetland, and then I have the yarn that I have from prior weeks as well. So I'll go ahead and end with the week 3 Tour de Fleece video here. I may make a short video for next Saturday, just going over everything that I spun and potential project plans for them. But I don't anticipate that I will spin more for Tour de Fleece, but you never know. Tour de Fleece is not done yet. Today is the 25th, and the 26th and the 27th are also Tour de Fleece days. So who knows? I may get another braid spun up between now and the end of Tour de Fleece, but today is my 5th wedding anniversary, and DJ and I are going out to celebrate our 5 wonderful years of married life. So I don't know. Like I'm surely not going to spend more today, and then tomorrow and Sunday, it's anyone's guess. But that's it for the week 3 video of Tour de Fleece. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing me spin through these last couple weeks. It's been really fun for me. I think that I have met my goal to have fun, so I'm proud of that and happy with that. But that's all for now. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload. Last but not least, head over to Rachel is Knitting on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and follow me over there if you don't already. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.